Ambassador, thank you. Appreciate it. You need to know that you were the subject of conversation in Kodiak, Alaska this weekend. Everyone is pinning their hopes on our trade representative when it comes to seafood issues. So I want to raise that with you. As you know, we've seen some good news for U.S. agriculture commodities, corn and soybeans under the Phase 1 agreement. But when it comes to seafood, the fact of the matter is China is not meeting those commitments. In 2020, its imports of U.S. seafood were below the 2017 baseline. And yet at the same time, what we're seeing is that China is increasing their imports from other areas, non-U.S. imports up 89% in 2019 compared to the 2017 baseline, still up by 35% in 2020 despite the pandemic. So the question that the fine folks in Kodiak had is what's going on? Basically, what is happening? Why do we continue to see this shortfall by China in terms of its seafood purchases? Does USTR recognize what this is doing to our U.S. seafood competitiveness? And more importantly, how can we hold China accountable for failing on its commitments? And so if you can please address this for me and for all these fishermen in Kodiak that are quite anxious about what we've seen.
Senator Murkowski, thank you. I have been advised and informed of the excellence of the seafood product that is a hallmark of Alaska. I don't know that I've ever had the opportunity to experience the full aspects of what Alaska has to offer, but the reputation of Alaska's seafood precedes it really.
You were invited, by the way, to come north.
I was definitely maybe a little bit fishing for that invitation. But
we will accommodate.
The seafood is certainly in our sights in terms of the commitments that the Chinese made in this agreement. They're really, really important for a number of reasons. Economically, they're important to us, but they're also important as commitments that China undertook of its own free will to make, and that we need to ensure that their promises are worth the paper that they are written on. So let me just assure you and the fishermen in Kodiak, I hear you loud and clear. In our engagement with China on this particular agreement, we will need to engage with China across the board in our trade and economic relationship. But this is the agreement that we have. And this is the agreement that needs to stand up. So please let your fishermen know that I care deeply about their livelihoods, about the integrity of this agreement, and that we will be making use of the tools that we have and really pushing the tools that we have for their benefit.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm probably not going to need to report back to them because they're probably watching this hearing, even though it's just 6 o'clock in the morning. So I appreciate that commitment, but again, you have pointed out this was part of their deal. They've seen fit to make better on their word when it comes to other products, but seafood is a glaring example of where they have failed. So if we can just be aggressive in that area.